Here it is, though. Here it is. We're about to close. We're about to close. I got a couple things that I want to share with y'all before we go. So thank y'all for the discussion. I definitely want the right information out there. So that was very imperative because we are going to be putting this up online. So I do want the right information. So Jessica, did you have anything else you want to share? Okay, cool. I'm just making sure. Okay. I mentioned this earlier.
I have a friend of mine, she has a young son who started driving, and she actually, with his insurance card, she gave him all of his constitutional rights, and she put it on his dashboard, so.
All good advice. Leadership, yeah, a lot of good advice in here, so I think everyone is giving the good advice. So, I mentioned this earlier, that the situation that we're talking about, in my opinion, is a combination of a bigger issue in our community, which is mass incarceration. So, like I said, these deaths are very unfortunate. Sometimes it does come from our kids not doing right. I mean, Eric Garner was frustrated that day if you watched that. But if he had not resisted in any way, he probably would still be here. So that is a reality as well. But we also have examples where we know that even doing right sometimes can lead to a bad situation. So we have to maintain this type of demeanor that this young man maintained to come home. You know what I mean? Take your child, it's okay to be arrested and have your day in court. We try to have court right there in the spot. But like I said, there's a combination point of mass incarceration. And so we know in our community we've had the resource of the men taken out of the black and brown communities. This perpetuates a lot of the things that we cry and complain about that we're seeing because mass incarceration increased in the 80s in significant numbers, if you ever see the numbers. And a lot of us are, as you suggested, without a father that can go get him. I don't know if y'all have heard of the brother, make sure I got his name right, and then we'll, but I do got to share the brother's name. It's Khalif Bauer. 16-year-old gets accused of shoplifting a book bag. Says he didn't do it, New York, and goes to Rikers Island, spends 2 years in solitary confinement, and spent 3 years in jail, 2 years in custody. Family couldn't afford the $3,000 bail. They kept giving him continuances, and they kept trying to give him complete offers to admit to it. The kid never admitted to it. Spent 2 years in solitary confinement because he didn't have a father. When we see that mass incarceration has taken our fathers out of our community, I think what he's about to say speaks to me in a way that I think is amazing. So if you will.
All right. I'm gonna do it over here so everyone can see. I created a one-man show called Black Men Naked Truth, and the whole purpose behind it is it encourages good black men to realize that somebody's applauding them. And in my entire history, what I realized that the good I was doing, nobody gave me an applause. If they did, it was more like this. But if I had anybody, like when my cousin, he got out of jail, they threw him a block party. But I never realized that it took a lot to get out of jail, because you can just not do something to get in jail. He wasn't a civil rights activist. He was a guy who broke into someone's home, beat them up, and tried to rob them and got caught. But when I got my first degree, even though I was on the dean's list, Phi Theta Kappa, I had 3 people come out to my graduation. I got a balloon and 2 balloons and a cake. So what happens is, as young black men, what we're taught early on in many case scenarios, that doing good is like cool, but if you do bad and even try to do good, it's like, oh my gosh, Pkwy doing something amazing, but he's gonna do bad tomorrow. But we know right this moment he's trying. So I created 7 different characters and 7 different scenarios that breaks down things about black men that we deal with that we don't talk about, good black men that we don't talk about. The first thing, of course, is the power of not having a father. So this piece right here is called Baby Daddy. Oh, and I'm an actor. I'm not a poet, but I'm an actor. So this is acting that you guys know. This is called Baby Daddy. So this whole office is yours. Like, we ain't gonna get in trouble for being here now. This is for real? The Mercedes outside, was that a rental, lease? That's yours. Paid off? You ain't financed that? Good. All right. Got this banging office. The Mercedes outside. Listen, you would be somebody's wife if you wasn't ugly, girl. I promise you. Hey, don't try to hit me now, girl. Hey, now you can help pay off some of my student loans now. But listen. You made all this money off psychology. I mean, you doing all your thing, you doing it big or whatever. But I want to know how you feel about making all this money off crazy black people. Like, no, come on now. Okay, it probably ain't even black people being here. You know black people don't come to no doctor psychologists. You know we self-medicate. We either drink or pray. Sometimes one after the other.
So you can't tell me you got black people here. What, for, like regular black people go to psychologists for real? For real? Well, try some of that boo-boo-boo on me. Try some of that on me. No, seriously, try 2 questions, get me all up in my feelings. Come on. 2 questions, come on. Come on now, 2 questions. My childhood. How was my childhood? That's not a Mercedes question, girl, but how was my childhood? How was my childhood? It was basic, I ain't grow up, I ain't have a lot, single mom, daddy wasn't around, but I ain't really, scars on the brother, How to feel about my dad? No type of way, you know what I'm saying? The dude was, he was cool, but I ain't really know him, so I really can't tell you nothing about him. But I don't feel no type of way about him, since we're on the subject, it's funny, when I was in Little League, right? That was the first time a man ever gave me instruction. It was a coach. It was the first time. You know how that feels, though? People just kind of overlook it, but that's your first time ever getting instructions from a man. You know how weird that is? My mom can do all the yapping she wants, but it was different hearing a man give me direction. So on top of everything, not only am I getting directions from this man for the first time, not only my first time in my life getting instructions and learning how to throw and learning how to catch, but first time doing all this stuff, I'm frustrated trying to understand how to do all this at the same time. At the same time, I'm getting all this direction. This man is telling me I'm also struggling with the fact that I just want to tell him I love you and are you my daddy? Because how would I know? I never met him. But then, I was talking to my wife about this the other day, right? So it's kind of weird that you're talking about it. My dad missed 30 happy birthdays, 5 graduations, 3 broken hearts, 2 proms, and my one and only wedding. See, the weddings, that was the hardest one. Because I was trying to do the Christian thing. I was like, forgive him, it's going to be all good. I was doing it. And then the day before the wedding, after I already done invite him like 2-3 months in advance, he calls me and says, son, I ain't gonna be able to make it. I ain't got no gas money. No. Say, I know you looking like, what you mean by gas money? Like maybe it was far away. He lived 3 hours away from the wedding spot. 3 hours. That's 2 tanks of gas. I wasn't worth it. He abandoned me when I was a baby. So before I was worth something, this man just assumed I'll be worth nothing. So rather than watching the nothingness that I'll become, this dude he said, I don't want to see it. Do you know how many women's hearts I broke because I never knew how to accept love from a woman and how to love a woman? What can my mom teach me? She was never loved by a man. So what was she going to teach me, huh? Some of her failed tricks? What could she do? It was his job to teach me. I broke so many women because of this dude. But I stopped blaming him. I manned up. And I took care of my own heart, broken hearts. I took care of myself. I took the responsibility because that's what men do. I couldn't blame that fool for that stuff no longer. I said I couldn't do it. And I got around a bunch of other black men, real black men, who took care of their responsibilities. And I said, God, I want to be just like them. Build me up just like them. When I get a child, God, I want to be just like them. I want to take care of my sons because that's what real black men do. They don't abandon their responsibilities. So you know what I did? Ended up getting my wife pregnant. You know what she had? You know how funny God is, right? I said, God, I'm going to be this type of man, Twin boys. Yeah. You know what their first words were? Daddy home. Because every day I would come home from work, and my wife would run to the door, the children, they would come and they would go, Daddy home, Daddy home. They didn't pluralize it, they didn't have no possession nouns at that age, or, they knew Daddy home was what they needed to say. That's what they said. And you know what it took for me to get that accolade? Just being there. I didn't have to do nothing great. I didn't have to be a lawyer, a doctor. I didn't have to do any of that. I just had to be there because that's all they're asking us to do. Just be there. And be our first hero. Whew, girl. You got me all in my feelings for real, girl. Shoot, you deserve this office, the Mercedes, girl. Listen, you deserve you deserve it all, girl. What you get? A bill? For 2 questions? You got a layaway plan? Because I got some more questions, girl. I got some problems.
well. But the website, if you all wanted to get any information about this, I really need this to take over Atlanta, because good brothers like yourself, we have nothing, either on TV that talks about good brothers or encourages good brothers. It's like being good is what you're supposed to be, but that's not enough. Young men don't understand being good for the sake of being good. When I can be a fool and get not only all the accolades and attention, but also all the women. So if you guys can please help me with this campaign, go to Black Men Naked Truth. You can just send me your email address or whatever, and we can make it. I'm gonna give everybody my business card as well. Send me yours, because I need this to be something that happens here in Atlanta, and we can change the landscape of Atlanta one great black man at a time. Thank you.